Hello student, I am Professor Devashish Bose, Head, Department of Criminology and Forensic Science, Dr. Hari Singh Gaur Vishwavidyalaya, Sagar, Madhya Pradesh. Today I am going to present a lecture of BSc first semester on the unit Introduction to Criminology, and the topic will be Classification of Crime, which has been prepared by Dr. Deepak Gupta, a PhD in Criminology and a guest faculty at Department of Criminology and Forensic Science, Dr. Hari Singh Gaur Vishwavidyalaya, Sagar. So let's start our discussion while taking a look at what we are going to learn today. In today's topic of classification of crime, the module 1 will as usual deal with introduction. Module 2 will be the typologies of crime, a general overview. Module 3 will be the typology of crime, an Indian overview. Module 4 will be classification of crime in India, and finally module 5 will be our conclusion. So my dear student, let's start with module 1, that is introduction. The general term crime covers a wide variety of type of crime with their own distinct features. Murder and arson, for example, both are crimes. They have the same essential elements, including a criminal intent, that is mens rea, and a harm element, but these elements take different forms in different crime. In murder, the criminal intent takes the form of intention to kill another human being wrongfully, while in case of arson, the intent is that of wrongfully burning the property of another person. Lawyers and criminologists have searched for a system of grouping the many types of crime into coherent, rational category for easy of understanding, of learning, and of finding them in the law books, and for the purpose of studying them from both a legal and a criminological perspective. Such categorization are called typologies. The existence of crime in the society is a challenge to its member due to its deleterious effect on the order social growth. In fact, it leads to a colossal waste of human energy and an enormous economic loss. Therefore, with the advance in the field of criminology and behavioral sciences, efforts are being constantly made to work out a common, acceptable classification of crime and criminals for providing a rational basis of punishment for various categories of offenders. There are a variety of crimes such as violent personal crime, occasional property crime, occupational crime, political crime, public order crime, conventional crime, organized crime, professional crime, white collar crime, sexual crime, crime against the property, person, decency, public order, cybercrime, etc., etc., a lot of crimes. In the Indian point of view, these may be categorized into three main heads, which are offences falling under Code of Criminal Procedure, next offences under Indian Penal Code, and finally offences under local or special law of enactment. So with this, we come to the end of module 1. Module 2, the typologies of crime, a general overview. In the ancient Roman classified their crime as those against the god and those against other human being. This was the Roman classification of crime. As late as the 18th century, some English lawyers simply listed crimes alphabetically. The French of the early 19th century created a typology with three categories of crime. They were serious crime, medium serious crime, and crime of petty character. The more serious crimes were grouped into category based on the harm those crimes entailed, such as harm against life, against physical integrity, against honor, against property, and so on. Nowadays, the French categorization is generally accepted worldwide. Although lawyers and criminologists may differ on the desirability of lumping various crime types together into a single category. Lawyers, after all, may be much more interested in the procedural consequences that flow from the categorization, while criminologists may be more concerned with the criminological implication for studying different type of perpetrators and devising a scheme of crime prevention. There are also political considerations in devising such a topology. For example, the criminal codes of the former communist country had large categories of political crimes, which were given the most prominent place in these codes. They include many crimes that in Western democracies are grouped in other categories, such as property crimes or crime against the person, or that may have no counterpart at all. The typology in US law seeks to accommodate both the established legal typology, for example, which used in the model penal code, and the criminological objectives that are so important from the study of crime from a sociological and behavioral perspective. These categories are violent crime, crime against property, organizational criminality, and drug, alcohol, and sex related crime. Generally speaking, the following type of crime can be identified. Blue collar. In criminology, blue collar crime is any crime committed by an individual from a lower social class as opposed to white collar crime, which is associated with the crime committed by individuals of higher social stature. Street crime, the most common form of predatory crime. This is rape, robbery, assault, burglary, and auto theft occur most frequently on urban street. Racial minority citizens account for a disproportionately higher number of arrests for the street crimes. White collar crimes. These crimes are also known as business or economic and or political crimes. These are crimes committed by people of high social position in their course of their occupation. They rarely involve violence, but they involve significant public harm. Other important categories of crime are crime against international laws. The international crimes are the major criminal offense so designated by the community of nations for the protection of interest common to all humankind. Newest category of crime, they are hate crime, a criminal act motivated by racial or other bias such as religion, ancestry, sexuality, or physical disability. Next is computer crime. Just as computer can serve legitimate commerce, governmental activities, and researchers, the global internet is also accessible for criminal schemes, exploitation, and use by organized criminals. Computer crime generally refers to criminal activity where a computer or network is the source, tool, target, or place of a crime. Now we can have a detailed discussion on some of the important type of crimes in the following section. Since crime against person, crime against property, etc. will be covered by criminal law courses, these categories do not need extensive discussion under this course. Due to the enormity of the topic, only certain important categories will be discussed here. So with this, we come to the end of Module 2. Module 3, the typology of crime, an Indian overview. Some writers have preferred to classify crimes into legal, political, economic, social, and miscellaneous type of crime. Legal crimes can be termed as traditional crime. What are the traditional crime? That are theft, robbery, dacoity, rape, hurt, rioting. These are the common type of crimes. Political offences are those which are motivated politically or committed in violation of the election laws or norms set out for the politician in course of their political activity. Next is economic crime, which also include white collar offences such as tax evasion, smuggling, prostitution, gambling, foreign exchange violation, offences against the MRTP Act. Then there is social crimes which are committed under social legislation such as Child Marriage Restraint Act, violation of these acts, Protection of Civil Right Act, Immoral Trafficking Act, Indecent Representation of Women Act, Commission of Sati Act, the Dowry Prohibition Act, Juvenile Justice Act, Scheduled Caste and Scheduled Tribe Act, etc. So these are the special act when you violate these acts, such kind of crimes. All other remaining crimes which are committed under local or special act are termed as miscellaneous crime. For example, offences against the Prevention of Food Adulteration Act, Drug and Cosmetic Acts, Consumers Protection Act, Prevention of Illicit Traffic in Narcotic and Drug and Psychotropic Substance Act. So these are the classification which you can see that where the crimes are falling. With this, we come to the end of Module 3. Module 4, Classification of Crimes in India. The Criminal Procedure Code, that is CRPC, classifies all the crimes into two categories. One is cognizable, that is section 2C of CRPC, and next is non-cognizable offences, that is section 2I of CRPC. Cognizable crime. A cognizable offence or case is defined as the one which an officer in charge of a police station may investigate without the order of a magistrate and effect arrest without warrant. The police have a direct responsibility to take immediate action on the receipt of a complaint or of credible information in such crime, visit the scene of crime, investigate the facts, apprehend the offender and arrange him before the court of law having jurisdiction over that particular matter. Cognizable crimes are broadly categorized as those falling either under the Indian Penal Code, that is IPC, or under the Special and Local Laws, that is SLL. Now we move on to non-cognizable crimes. Non-cognizable crimes are defined as those which cannot be investigated by police without the order of a competent magistrate. The police do not initiate investigation on its own or anywhere in non-cognizable offences except with magisterial permission. First schedule of the CRPC gives the classification of the offences of the IPC into cognizable and non-cognizable categories. These crimes can be classified into three main heads, namely offences falling under the criminal procedure, offences under Indian penal, offences under local or special law. Now we will deal about offences falling under CRPC or Criminal Procedure Code. Offences related to peace and order, that is section 106 to section 124 of CRPC. Offences related to maintenance, that is section 125 to 128 of CRPC. Offences against public tranquility, that is section 129 to section 148 of CRPC. Next is offences falling under IPC. They are offences against person, offences against property, offences related to document, offences affecting mental order, offences against public tranquility, offences against state, offences related to public servant. Offences against person are culpable homicide, which are section 299 of IPC, murder, section 300 of IPC, causing death by negligence, that is section 304A of IPC, dowry death, section 304B of IPC, abetment of suicide of child or insane person, section 305 of IPC, abetment of suicide, section 306 of IPC, attempt to murder, section 307 of IPC, attempt to commit suicide, section 309 of IPC, etc., etc. Offences against property are theft, that is section 378 of IPC, extortion, Section 383 of IPC, robbery. Section 390 of IPC, dacoity. Section 391 of IPC, dishonest misappropriation of property, that is section 403 of IPC, stolen property, section 410 of IPC and related sections. Next we come to offences related to documents, which are forgery under section 463 of IPC, property marks, that is sections 479 of IPC, counterfeiting of currency notes or bank notes, that is section 489A of IPC. Offences affecting mental order are cruelty, that is section 498A of IPC, defamation, section 499 of IPC, offences against public tranquility are unlawful assembly, that is section 144, rioting, section 146, affray, section 159 of IPC. Now we move on to offences against the state. They are waging or attempting to wage a war or abetting waging of war against the government of India, that is section 121 of IPC, collecting arms etc. with the intention of waging war against the government of India, that is section 122, concealing with intent to facilitate design to wage war, that is section 123, assaulting president, governor with the intent to compel or restrain the exercise of any unlawful power under section 124 of IPC, sedition, that is section 124 again A of IPC, waging war against any Asiatic power in alliance with the government of India, that is section 125 of IPC, committing depression on territories of power at peace with the government of India, that is section 126, like this. So my dear student, kindly go through these books like CRPC or IPC and you will have more detailed idea. Just when I am talking about any section, just turn it, because in this small module we cannot discuss everything. You will have another lectures pertaining to all these sections of IPC, but now at this moment if you want to know something more, just turn on the pages of CRPC, that is Criminal Procedure Code, or IPC. You can just get a bare act. It will be very useful for your future also. With this, we come to the end of module 4. Module 5, conclusion. My dear student, now it's time to sum up this beautiful topic. It is very important to note that crime became a global problem or a trouble to this world. In India also, crime is increasing day by day. You know this. Just go to page 3. It's all criminal news, even in the main page also. Most of the crimes such as murder, rape, kidnapping, dowry death, child labor, transaction of human body and corruption as a form of white collar crime are increasing. As a result, thousands of cases are pending at the court of law. Government is making various anti-crime laws to prevent these crimes, but it is not only the duty of government, it is also the duty of each and every person in public to help the government to prevent these increasing crime, the rate of increase in crime. With the development of more careful study of society, critical attention has been given to the questions of crime, such as a study has made it possible to formulate a sociological definition of crime. It has also made imperative a reclassification of crime on the basis of recent knowledge concerning society. In the light of this knowledge, it becomes apparent that the problem of crime are social problem. The crime is a phenomenon of social life. In considering how to deal with crime and criminals, it is necessary to take into account human nature and the motive, interest, habits of people, customs which have grown up in the society and the social machinery. With all these important information here, we come to the end of today's informative lecture. Do keep in mind what we have discussed today. This is Professor Devashish Bose signing off for today. If you want to learn more and enhance your knowledge, you may log on to our website at www.cec.nic.in for MCQ, quizzes and LORs. Till then, thank you and goodbye.